Look at B, we want to rewrite the tan of 5 pi over 4 as the other, as the cofunction identity that's going to give us the exact same answer when evaluated. So first again, we're going to answer the question, what quadrant is 5 pi over 4 in? So at this point we know that that is in quadrant 3, and we know that because 5 is 1 more than 4. So in quadrant 3 then, is the angle going to be closer to pi over 2 or 3 pi over 2? Well, if we take a quick look at our unit circle, quadrant 3 is down here, and so obviously the angle is going to be closer to 3 pi over 2 than it is to pi over 2. So in this case, the angle is going to be closer to 3 pi over 2. So then we want to rewrite 5 pi over 4, so that's going to be 3 pi over 2, and in this case our angle is before 3 pi over 2, so we're going to subtract our correlated angle, and our correlated angle is going to be the angle across from pi over 4 in its special triangle, which is also pi over 4. So that means my correlated angle then is pi over 4. In quadrant 3, we know that tan, oops, this should say tan. Let's change that. That tan is positive. And again, this should say tan. And what is the cofunction for tan? Well, the cofunction for tan is cotangent. So that means that when we rewrite our ratio using the cofunction identity and the correlated angle, well, we know then that the tan of 5 pi over 4 is going to give us the exact same answer as the positive cotangent ratio of pi over 4. Just to continue, if we take a quick look at part C, so we're trying to figure out what the another way to write the cosine of 11 pi over 6. So what quadrant is 11 pi over 6 in? Well, that is in quadrant 4. And in quadrant 4, the angle is going to be closer to 3 pi over 2. So we know that 11 pi over 6 then can be rewritten as 3 pi over 2. Because we're in quadrant 4, we know that our angle is going to be a little bit more than 3 pi over 2, so we're going to add to it, and we're going to add our correlated angle, which in this case is going to be what angle exists in the triangle with pi over 6. Well, that is going to be pi over 3. So 3 pi over 2 plus pi over 3 should give us 11 pi over 6. This means that our correlated angle in this case is going to be pi over 3. So in this quadrant, should say, is cosine positive or negative? Well, in quadrant 4, again, cosine is positive. So then this should say, what is the cofunction for cosine? Well, the cofunction for cosine is sine. So if we were to rewrite the cosine of 11 pi over 6, it's going to be the positive sine of pi over 3. So both of these, when plugged into the calculator, should give us the exact same answer.